Anyway, without further ado, let's get to chapter 11. Welcome, everybody. Chapter 11, A Missing Piece. The next day, Addy was eager to tell Sarah about the letter. She was disappointed when Sarah was absent from school. Addy was worried too. She hoped Sarah hadn't gotten sick from having cold, wet feet the day before. After school, Addy put Sarah's slate and reader and the day's homework assignment into her satchel so she could drop them off at Sarah's house after she finished the deliveries for Mrs. Ford. She would share her good news with Sarah then. That afternoon, wherever Addy went with her packages, she stared at the faces of the people she passed. Is that little girl Esther? What about that thin old man? Is he Uncle Solomon? She remembered what Mama had told her. She was working for Mrs. Ford, and she couldn't dawdle. But Addy could not help looking, hoping to see the faces she missed so much. Sam was waiting for her at Mrs. Ford's shop when she returned. I went to see Mr. Cooper at the Quakers' meeting house, he said. He told me a couple of hospitals to go to. I want you all back in time for supper now, you hear? Mama said. Addy got her school lessons and a reading for the church celebration to study tonight. As Addy and Sam headed out into the cold, Addy took hold of her brother's hand. Sam had the other sleeve of his jacket pinned up. Seeing his empty sleeve reminded Addy of the price Sam had paid for freedom. He never complained about losing an arm in the war. Addy knew Sam was proud of having been a soldier, fighting to end slavery. He had told Addy that he would do it over again. Addy and Sam walked 2 blocks when Sam said, "Girl, why are you looking so serious?" "What we doing is serious," said Addy. "That's true. But look at here," said Sam. "If we do find Esther and Auntie Lula and Uncle Solomon today, you can't meet them with that stony face you're wearing." Addy smiled. Sam could always make her feel better. "Now, no matter what happened today, don't lose that smile of yours," Sam said. When Addy and Sam walked through the doors of City Hospital, the nurse at the front desk looked up at them. "Yes?" she asked impatiently. "Ma'am, we're looking for Lula and Solomon Morgan," Sam said firmly. "They old folks, and they got a little girl with them named Esther Walker." The nurse quickly looked through a list of names. "Not here," she said flatly. "Maybe they was sick and couldn't tell you their names," said Addy. "Or maybe they just came in today, a few minutes ago." "Young lady," interrupted the nurse. "How do you expect me to remember 2 old people and 1 baby? Hundreds of patients come through here. If their names aren't on my list, there is nothing I can do. I'm sorry." "Ma'am, can we look back in the charity ward anyway?" Sam asked. "Me and my sister walked nearly 2 miles to get here. We just want to see for ourselves." "You may go back," the nurse said to Sam, "but your sister may wait here. No children allowed. That's the rule." Addy was disappointed. She sat on a bench near the door and watched Sam disappear down the hall. In a little while, a large group of people came in and crowded around the nurse and the front desk. "The nurse can't see me," Addy thought. She eased up off the bench, slid along the wall, and slipped down the hall. Addy found the charity ward. It was dimly lit and full of shadows, and Addy could hear pitiful moaning, loud coughing, and children crying. Slowly, she walked forwards, searching the faces of the iron beds. She felt sad and scared, and she studied the grizzled old men, miserable children, and bone-thin women. "Psst," Addy heard someone whisper. "Over here." It was Sam. Addie didn't realize she had walked right past him. He was sitting next to an older man whose face was so thin that it looked like a skull with skin stretched tightly over it. She saw right away that the old man was not Uncle Solomon. "Who is this?" the man asked in a weak voice. "She my sister Addie," Sam said. He turned to Addie. "This is Mr. Polk," he explained. "He said he ain't seen anyone like Lula and Solomon and Esther here." "But I'll keep an eye out for them," Mr. Polk said. "If they come here, I'll tell them you're looking for them." "Thank you," said Addie. Mr. Polk smiled at Addie. "You remind me of my granddaughter Charlotte. Come back and see me again." "I will," Addie promised. Mr. Polk closed his eyes. "You better get going now," he said. "I hear the nurse coming." Addie and Sam left the hospital quickly. They walked together in silence for a while, both thinking of Mr. Polk and the other patients in the dismal ward. Addie was sorry they had not found Esther, Lula, and Solomon, but she was glad they were not in such a terrible place. When they got to Sarah Street, Sam said, "I need to get some things at the grocery on the corner. You go on to Sarah's, and I'll meet you there." "All right," Addie said. She hurried the rest of the way to her friend's house. She knocked and knocked on the front door, but no one answered. Addie made her way along a narrow passage to the alley, which was strewn with line after line of clothes. They floated like ghostly shapes in the December dusk. Addie lifted a sheet and saw Sarah standing on her toes, pinning a large shirt to a clothesline. "Hey, Addie," Sarah said. "I got some good news," Addie said. "We got a letter yesterday. Esther and Lula and Solomon may be here in Philadelphia." Sarah's face lit up. "That is good news," she exclaimed. "Me and Sam have been looking for them today," Addie said. "I was hoping you could come with us tomorrow after you and me make our deliveries. Oh, and I brought you your slate and reader and tonight's lessons." When Addie handed the slate to Sarah, it slipped from Sarah's wet hands and fell to the ground, shattering into pieces. "Oh, Sarah, I'm so sorry," said Addie. She knelt down and tried to pick up the pieces of the slate. "Now you ain't going to be able to do your lessons tonight." Sarah sighed. "It don't matter," she said sadly. "I won't be needing that slate anymore." "What do you mean?" asked Addie. She stood, holding the shards of Sarah's slate in her hands. Sarah did not look at Addie. She took a deep breath and then spilled out the words. "My mama need me to help with the wash. My family really need the money, and we make more money when I stay home and work. I ain't coming to school no more. Hi, welcome." Addie shook her head, too stunned to speak. Finally, she said, "But you can't leave school, Sarah. You can't quit. Remember yesterday? We were talking about being teachers. If you leave school, how will you ever become a teacher?" Sarah was quiet. She looked like she was going to cry. Just then, Sarah's mother came out the door, carrying a huge basket of steaming laundry. "Mrs. Moore," said Addie, "Sarah says she gotta quit school. Please say it ain't true." Mrs. Moore put down the basket. "Come on inside, girls," she said. She led them into a room filled with laundry from the floor to the ceiling. It was stacked with baskets on the table, on a chair, on the bed. In the middle of the room was an ironing board. Mrs. Moore took an iron from the top of the stove, sprinkled the shirt with some water, and began to iron it. "Me and Sarah's papa don't want Sarah to leave school," said Mrs. Moore. "But times is hard. Sarah's papa's working, I'm working, and we need Sarah to work too. There's just no other way." Addie burst out. "But Sarah can have the delivery job all by herself. That way she can have all the tips, hers and mine. Couldn't she stay in school then?" "Thank you kindly for offering to help," Mrs. Moore said, "but those tips won't be enough." Addie wouldn't give up. "She just can't quit, Mrs. Moore," Addie went on. If Sarah stays in school, then someday, Mrs. Moore interrupted gently. Addy, we gotta eat today and pay for this here room tomorrow. Sarah needing new boots right now. We can't be dreaming about someday. Addy hung her head. There was nothing left to say. Now, don't go getting yourself all upset, said Mrs. Moore. Things gonna work out. You best be getting home. Your mama gonna be worried. Sarah walked Addy to the front door. I'm gonna be in church on Sunday, she said, trying hard to smile. Maybe after I can help you practice that Emancipation Proclamation you're reading on New Year's Eve. Sure, said Addy. She tried to smile too, but inside it felt as if her heart were breaking, shattered like sour slate into pieces that could never be put back together.